The night market is one of Valorant's most talked about features. No matter what else is going on in the game at the time, people are always asking the same question: when is the next night market? For that reason, I wanted to make an all-encompassing video with everything you could possibly want to know about the night market in one place. So that'll be what skins you can and can't get, how to know when the next night market will be, and since the night market has been feeling a little stale lately, I'll also share some ways Riot could improve it going forward. Plus, I've also got a useful tool to show you guys later on. First and foremost, in case you've been living under a rock and aren't familiar with the night market, here's a basic rundown. It was first introduced in December of 2020 as essentially a bonus extension of the normal store, available for a limited time only. In your night market, you'll have 6 cards, and hiding behind each one is a random discounted skin. Compared to the regular store, which only offers 4 skins at a time for full price, this felt like a huge step up. It gave players an exciting reason to hop on and see what discounts they got, and then share their joy or dismay online.
Night market. Oh, I forgot. Boom, 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 boom. Let's see. Is anything good? I might throw up.
Now, earlier in the video, I mentioned a tool that will help your Valorant performance, and that is GearUp, a service to stabilize your connection and get you the best performance possible while gaming. You can set it specifically to Valorant, where it will lower your ping, and it's even more effective if you're playing across regions with friends, where it'll redirect your network to the right pathways, reducing your ping by 70 to 100 ms in those cases. They even include anti-packet loss technology, so you won't lose fights due to missing inputs. They've got great reviews on Trustpilot and have partnered with reputable orgs like TSM, so if you're tired of lag holding you back, try out GearUp. It'll handle latency, packet loss, and cross-region issues. I've left a link down below in the description and pinned comment, so you can try it out easily. Now, the night market for the most part is actually on a fairly predictable cycle, so for everyone out there always commenting asking when the next one is, this part is for you. Valorant do one night market per act. This has been tried and true since 2020, and they haven't skipped a beat or doubled up in an act since then. More often than not, the night market will end the day before that act ends. This isn't always true. For example, recently in V25 Act 4, it was relatively close to the start of the act. However, this still gives you the latest possible date for the next night market to appear by. The duration also varies too. We've had some markets well over 4 weeks, and then others only lasting 12 days. So with all that in mind, let's take a stab at when we'll get the next night market. As of when I'm recording this, the next one hasn't been announced yet, but we do know this act ends on the 15th of October, so the next night market will probably end on the 14th of October at the latest. If it were to last for 12 days, the shortest we've seen so far, that means it would start on the 2nd of October, again presumably at the latest. They also tend to announce the night market 1 week or so in advance, so I would expect an announcement by the 25th of September. They'll always tweet out the date, and I'll normally create a short to spread that information, so keep an eye out in the next week or two. Unfortunately, the night market is not all that I've made it out to be so far, as there are actually some pretty strict limitations on what skins can and can't appear. For starters, on this fairly extensive list, we have all of the ultra and exclusive tier skins being completely off the table. This means that some of the most popular collections in the game, whether it's RGX, Primordium, Nocturnum, and yes, even Kuronami, are impossible to get in your night market. Then there's a few more obvious ones too. Battle Pass skins, Agent skins, any limited edition skins like the Arcane Sheriff or VCT capsules, and finally the Champion skins, of course, can't appear in your night market. That doesn't leave us with much. In fact, only Select, Deluxe, and Premium Edition skins are available. At least that means you can get the Oni Katana then, right? No, since there's another rule where any melee skin that costs 4,350 Valorant points or above won't appear, even if their bundle tier can. So some prominent examples of that rule, obviously the Oni Katana, but also the Reaver Karambit, Magepunk Spark Switch, Valiant Hero Staff, Zero Fang Knife, and Sovereign Blade, all won't appear despite being part of premium tier bundles. You'd think that's all, but there is one last rule. Eligible skins must also have been released at least 2 acts prior to the one the current night market is in. So that Sword of Clean Omen dagger that released all the way back in June will only be available for the first time in this upcoming night market. It might feel like all hope is lost, but thankfully there are still some pretty popular rifles you can get. For the Recon Phantom and Forsaken Vandal enjoyers out there, you can all rejoice. Then both the Phantom and Vandal can appear for many skin lines like Gaia's Vengeance, Ion, Oni, Prime, and Reaver. Even with those stricter rules around knives, there's some clean options, like these 3 different butterfly knives, the Celestial Fan, the Soul Strife Scythe, or the Prime Axe, so not all hope is lost. That brings us to the discounts themselves though. Each skin is randomly discounted, ranging from 10% to 49%. So that means even if you are lucky enough to get, say, the original Reaver dagger in your night market, it could only be marked down to barely less than 3,200 Valorant points. There is technically just as much chance to get 49% off though, which would bring that same skin all the way down to 1,811 Valorant points, which is actually pretty good if you're lucky enough to get it. Riot have actually made a couple of tweaks to the night market since launch. On literally the second night market ever, they saw some of the negative feedback from the original one and made it so you'll get at least 2 red/premium tier skins or higher, and you won't get 2 or more of the same weapon if possible. They did also do a one-off to celebrate the 5-year anniversary of the game, where you could, again could, so not a guarantee, get 3 of the oldest exclusive tier skin lines in the game. I don't even think they let those skins stick around beyond that one night market though, which is kind of wild to me. Other than that, it's basically been something absurd like 4.5 years with no actual changes or improvements to the system. For that reason, it feels like the night market has gotten staler over time. It was so hyped up when it first came out, but now the randomness and the discounts just end up feeling disappointing to the point where people just roll their eyes when they hear a new night market is coming out. So how can Riot actually make the night market exciting again? One thing people have been asking for since day one is a reroll system. So if you don't like what you got, then you can simply try your luck again. There are so many different ways this could be implemented depending on how greedy Riot want to be. Maybe you only get to reroll 1 card or 1 reroll per rarity. Maybe you only get 1 free reroll and every one after that costs something small like 50 Valorant points. People would genuinely take that gamble for just a chance of spending more money, so when you look at it that way, I can't believe Riot hasn't tried something like this yet. Beyond that, there's the simple idea of a good old wish list. Let players choose a few eligible skins that they actually want and guarantee one of them showing up, or at least give it a higher chance to give the player some agency. Alternatively, they could just take inspiration from League's night market equivalent, where instead of the skins being completely random, they're based on the agents, or in this case weapons, that you actually use. So if you're a Phantom player, you'd get more Phantom skins instead of Vandals, and then all of us would get less Judge and Odin skins, saving those for the freaks out there. Beyond all that, I'd love to see Riot at the bare minimum add 1 extra slot dedicated to higher tier skins. There's so many in the game now that I don't think one is going to make a dent. Maybe they'd want to reduce the possible discount so people aren't getting 50% off on the best skins the game has to offer, but as of right now, it's a pretty big letdown that people can't even anticipate getting their favorite skins. There's tons of other ideas Riot could try too, whether it's a way for the community to vote for certain skins, further discounts, or even a way to earn extra slots. Imagine how much drive that would give people to play the game. Anyway, that is everything there is to know about the night market in Valorant, and hopefully some improvements that consider making to return it to its former glory. Let me know what skins you're hoping to get in this upcoming night market, and thanks again to GearUp for sponsoring this video. Check them out with the link in the description.